Whoops. Okay, are we on? I think we're on. Hi everyone. How are you all doing tonight? Hope you guys are having a good week. Hope you guys had a great week or a much better weekend than I did. I'll tell you about that later. But first, no, let me put my mouse here so I can control the screen. Let's see who's here and do some quick shout outs. So we got Donna Hoskins is saying hey Donna. We got Kim Burris here. Hey Kim. Kim, I am going to be sending you an email after tonight's live, so just just let me know whenever. Chloe Morgan is here. Hello Chloe. And Barb McKinley is checking in. Hey, Barb. Jackie is here. Hey, all still hot in Phoenix. 95. Ooh. At least in Vegas, it's cooled down a little bit. I think the low for the night is now reaching the 70s. And then the high is not breaking 100 finally. So, cool weather is coming. Just hang in there, Jackie. But we're glad you made it here tonight. Let's see. Who else made it here tonight? We got Joyce here saying, hello, Eric and everyone. Finally catching a live from the beginning. Well, glad you made it, Joyce. Kim Burris is saying, I get my new glasses tomorrow. And my little magnifying glass that hangs around my neck. Ooh, okay. That's good news. I'll finally be able to do embroidery, cross stitch, and handwork again and able to see well. Well, Kim, that's great news. Just don't be surprised when you finally see me for the first time. No, just kidding. Irish Sail Lady is checking in. Hello, hello. Okay, and Julie Anway. Hello, Julie. Glad you made it here tonight. I see that you got the book. We got Charlotte De Roches here. Hello, Charlotte. Okay, I hope I didn't miss anyone. If I did, I am sorry. Sometimes the chat just jumps on me. So what happened to me this weekend? Well, I got a little bit of on Saturday. Went out to get some lunch, and by Saturday night I was not feeling good. So it was a good thing that I didn't schedule a live, because I would have canceled it anyway. Come Sunday morning, I had a full-blown high fever, getting the chills. I mean, it was weird that here in the desert I'm getting chills and feeling cold. I think I just got food poisoning, and so it took me all the way. Sunday I just stayed in bed, didn't really do much, and Monday was the same thing. I just slept all day. So got up this morning, sort of felt like the fever cracked because I was in sweats this morning. I mean, I was just like all sweaty, so I took a cold shower. Was feeling better, so I decided to just check in at work. Made it through the day, and now I'm here. So feel a lot better, I will say that. And yeah, I just think that maybe it was just a little bit of food poisoning here. I won't say where, because I don't have any hard physical evidence. Of course, this is all circumstantial. But yeah. Well, I will say this. It was fried chicken that I was eating, so you guys can make your assumptions as to what fast food chain restaurant it is. Hey, Sandy. Glad you made it here tonight. So yeah. Oh, that doesn't sound like food poisoning. Well, I'm hoping that it is, because I mean, it was weird that it happened right after I ate that piece of chicken. So, but if it isn't, then, well. Okay, so what am I working on tonight? Okay, let's switch cameras for a second. So this is the block. It's called Noon and Light. I don't know if the camera will focus it. Maybe I have to manually focus. There we go. Block number 60, Noon and Light. Now, on a block like this, I would typically opt to maybe print out the templates, or if there's a paper piece pattern, because of these weird angles here, it would probably be easier to just print out the templates and use the templates instead of trying to figure out how to piece it together, like cutting the different fabric parts. But I figure I'm going to give myself a little bit of a challenge and try and figure out what size pieces I need, or how to piece this block together, rather than using the templates or some paper piecing patterns. So I'm not 100% sure this is gonna work, but here's hoping. I think I did the math correctly, but if I come out with a different size block, well, we'll figure it out later. So I did start piecing some of it together because I wanted to make sure. I was trying to see if I could get one quadrant of the block done, just to make sure that it's gonna work. And thus far it's looking pretty good. So here's hoping that I got my measurements correct. So, and I am just using a very eclectic set of fabrics here because I pulled these were part of a charm pack that I had, and I've been holding on to them for a really long time. They're not my favorite colors. Like, I know, wow, in the camera this looks really bright and red or pinkish, but in reality it's not that pretty. Or at least to me it's not that pretty. So these were kind of tucked away in my undesirable fabric stash. I don't like to call them ugly fabrics, but just my less desirable fabric stash. So I figure I'm just gonna test it out and see if I like, or I was gonna use this fabric to make the block for tonight. And just test it out to see how, or I mean, if I do the block wrong, or if I need to remake the block because it comes out to be the wrong size, no biggie. Because I'm using this undesirable fabric, no big thing. But thus far, I'm actually kind of liking the combination. So, okay. So what other fabrics did I pull? Just whatever I had in the correct size. So I had these fabrics that were pre-cut in my stash from another project. I got these squares here, and then got these squares here. So let's see if this works. Now I got all of that, and I just need 1/2 square triangle, if I'm not mistaken, to go here. Yep. And the fabric I am using is these. Okay, so what project is everybody working on tonight, or are we just hanging out and watching, waiting for the disaster to happen? No, I shouldn't say that. Think positive, Eric. Think positive. It's going to work out, right? And on the side, I did have a bunch of these 1.5 inch squares that were just kind of leftover pieces from another quilt that I was doing. So I'm just gonna sew these into 4 patches, maybe make something out of it in the future. Because even though it's small, it's still useful. You can make something out of it. Whoops. Totally did not get that cut all the way through. There we go. So let's see. I can finger. So I'm just press that down, and then I actually need to trim this down to size, to a smaller size. Then I can sew these two together, and it looks like this is actually going to work. So my little 4-patch together. 4-patch. And let's see. Let's open that up. Okay, I'm gonna press this one. How did I press that? Yeah, pressed it open. Then we can put these two together. And then we'll have 1/4 of the block done. Then I can mass produce it. Okay, oops, I totally misaligned that. Well, we can fix it now. Okay, get a stack of these 1-inch squares done. Here's a question for everybody. What's the smallest size scrap that you will keep? Mine, I'm building up a stack of 1.5-inch squares, and 1 inch, I think 1.5 or 1 inch is going to be the smallest I will ever do, because there is no way I'm keeping 3/4 of an inch. Okay, this is not bad, although that point is not totally aligned, but I'm happy with it. Okay, let's give this a press. Okay, so there's 1/4 of the block. So full square, this is a 1/4 square, 1/4 square triangles mixed in with this. Here's my 1/2 square triangle, and then another unit, which is the mirror image of that. So this should be, yeah, it's just about the right size. So looks like I got the math correct. Now, here's hoping that I don't mess it up from here on out. Okay, so that's an extra piece. That's an extra piece. Hey. Kim Burris is saying, glad you feel better. Oh, thank you, Kim. And Jackie says, that's a pretty block. Well, let's see how it comes out with this combination of fabrics. Hi, Michelle the Quilter. Glad you made it here today. Well, thank you, Chloe. She's saying sorry to hear you've been sick. Glad you're on the mend. Well, thank you. Hi, Damali. And Julie says she's just hanging out with us tonight. Well, glad you could do so, Julie. And Lori Clark says she's helping a friend get her house ready to sell. Ooh, does that mean you're staging it? Or just cleaning it? Jackie says she's just chilling, worn out, and had a junk removal company haul away some of Dad's furniture. Wow. You know, it was surprisingly expensive. It was surprising to me how, well, it was reasonably priced when I did a junk haul. Because when I cleared out my old apartment in Los Angeles before I packed everything up, I did do a junk haul where I had some people remove some old furniture pieces that are just like not even worth donating to Goodwill or Salvation Army. And it was surprising how, I mean, I thought this was going to be like thousands of dollars. It wasn't all that much, but it was expensive. Okay. Bart McKinley says she will save 1.5 inch. Her one. That's the smallest scrap she will save. I deconstructed an old VB garment bag some time ago and have done many projects out of it. Tonight's project was a sewing machine cover. That's Donna Hoskins. Whoops. Kim Burris is saying she will save 1.5 inch squares and strips. My hands don't do well with anything smaller. Yeah, my eyes don't do it well with anything smaller either. And not to mention my sanity. Although I am the type of person that will save or use up every last bit. And sometimes I kind of think that even those little slivers like this, I mean, this is like a 1/4 inch right here. If I could find a project to use it, I probably would save it, but I have to kind of learn to not save everything like that, because that's how everything gets so cluttered in here, around here. But you know, I mean, a 1/4 inch of fabric like that, that's what, 5 cents? I don't know, I should do the math on that one day. Okay, I can mess with these later. Okay. So here is my example, and then I have to repeat what I did. So what did I do? Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna cut a square from this fabric. To get the right size. So cutting this down. And then I will trim these down later. I can, no, maybe I'll just keep it. So, okay, so I'm gonna do the 2 at a time half square triangle method here using these. And then I need one more, I think. Yeah. I actually need a few more. You know, I don't like these fabrics or these pre-cuts that have the pinked edges. Irritates me for some reason. You know, before I never used to mind it, but then I started noticing there's inconsistencies between manufacturer or even between each fabric line in terms of where you're supposed to measure from. Are you supposed to measure from the peak or the valley? And, you know, different people have different opinions on that too. Oh, that's okay. I have an extra one. I think I'll have an extra. Well, it'll be good for me to have an extra one on hand for this, because I might get disoriented and sew the wrong one in the wrong direction. And in just a minute, you'll see what I mean. Okay, Michelle the Quilter says 1.5 inches too. Okay, and Jackie is saying hardest thing was to see Dad's computer desk go. He built it about 15 years ago. Oh, you mean he made it himself? Wow, that's incredible. But nobody wanted to keep it? Wow. There's, I will admit for me, there are some furniture pieces that I do want to keep. Um, and it's not that they're the nicest. It's not that they're really nice or ornate. It's more or less what the furniture piece represents to me. Um, okay. Case in point, I have a desk that's here. Can I turn the camera? No, it's gonna. Anyway, right now there's a desk. It's like a bar table. Um, Nothing fancy about it. It was a wooden table that I purchased from IKEA. Gosh, 16 years ago. And when I first left Hawaii and moved into my apartment in Los Angeles, I was like really starting from scratch. I had nothing. So my first couple nights sleeping in that studio that I rented out, my very first place on my own, again, I had nothing. But this bar stool here. And so, that was the only piece of furniture that I had. And eventually, I got like a mattress, got a bed, got other pieces of furniture. But for the longest time, I was just spending my time in that studio by myself. And just only had that bar table. And it was my work desk for whenever I needed to do stuff at home. It was my dining table. And at that time, I was not quilting, so it would have probably been my sewing table too. But how did I do this? Oh yeah, with this. But over the years, of course, I got more pieces of furniture, and made the space a little bit more livable. But for some reason, I cannot let that table go because it just has sentimental value for me, being that it's kind of a reminder of how simple when I first moved out and first started my adventure in Los Angeles. It's kind of like a reminder of where I came from. Gosh, I can't remember. Can't believe that was 16 years ago. 2008. Is that 16 years? Wait, 2008, 9, 10, 8, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh, 17 years ago. Jeez. It's a long time ago, yeah. Then I gotta do this one. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to I'm trying to make this unit here. So it's basically a quarter square triangle. And if you've never done a quarter square triangle before, here's one technique that you can use. Basically, you take two half square triangles. Now, of course, they would be of similar size, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, where you got the diagonals going in different directions. Now, here I got one diagonal going from the bottom right to the upper left, and here I got the other half square triangle going in the opposite direction. I'm gonna make it so that when I put these right sides together, the two diagonals or the two seams kind of crisscross each other like an X. But for this particular block though, I'm only using half of a quarter square triangle. See, normally if you have two half square triangles and you do this technique, what you'll end up with is a block that will kind of look like this. But in this case, well, that's a little hard to see because they got two different sizes. Well, let's do it like this. Whoops. No, wait, that's not right. So this one goes like that, and this goes like, wait a minute. I'm gonna figure this out. There. Okay, so my mistake. Okay, so you line the seams up the same way. Just make sure that your fabrics alternate each other, and then you're gonna sew your seam in the opposite direction. So I got, again, both my seam is going up from the bottom left to the bottom right to the upper left. I'm gonna place my other half square triangle on top of that with the seam going in the same direction. But when I put it through the sewing machine, I'm actually gonna sew the seam in the opposite direction so that you got, when you open it, you got a quarter square triangle. Okay, hope I didn't confuse anybody because I just got myself confused on that one. Okay, but for purposes of this block, we're only getting half of the quarter square triangle. So we want to basically end up with this, and the other half of the square is going to end up being a different fabric or one whole piece of fabric. So basically I'm doing the same technique where I'm going to take this square, just put it, or just line up my corners right on where the seams are. And then I'm going to line up, try and match my corners here as well as here. Now the seam on the bottom half square triangle is going this way. So I'm going to sew I'm going to sew another seam going that way. And we'll come out with this unit. I hope that makes sense. Whoops. I hope that made sense. So it's been a while since I've done any kind of quarter square triangle. And this is a good technique to do if you need a lot of quarter square triangle units, or hourglass units as some people would call them. If you need them to be all of the same color or look very similar, this is a good technique to do. But if you need it totally scrappy, where you want all sorts of different random fabrics, then this may not be the best technique to do or to construct this block. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna finger press these seams open for now. Okay. So I'm getting two of them out of each one, or each unit that I had previously. I get two out of this, so it'll be that and that. I have one of these here, and then I need a half square triangle. Whoops, got that one right there. Right, so I'm going to trim these down or square up these blocks, and we've got our second quadrant done. Okay, but for now I'm going to keep making these, and hopefully I will explain it over and over again. Julie says you can use the smaller fabric pieces to stuff projects like pillow or dog cat beds. Actually, I do save those for stuffing. I just completed one pillow right before I moved, so I'm like filling up another pillowcase with all of this, you know, little small scrap pieces of fabrics. Jackie says it was huge. Wow. I bet it must have been heavy too. Okay. Hello, Miss Jilly Poppy. She says she's new here. That is such a small rotary cutter. You're making small blocks. Those are cool. Well, thank you. This is actually a 45 millimeter. It just looks small because my hand is like extra large. Okay, let me press these. Okay, so let's see. Question of the night. What is the question of the night? So if exclamation question, forgot what I put in. Ah, yes. So, you know, long time ago, I used to like doing certain things. Case in point, I used to like actually baking a lot. Partially because I used to work in a bakery when I was going to college. Found out that I have a knack for it. And I used to do a lot of cake decorating too. But these days, not so much. So, the question for tonight is there something that you, or a hobby, or something that you used to do a lot of that you no longer do? And why is it that you gave it up? Well, I can tell you this. When I was baking a lot, you know, I would enjoy it, but then I found out, or I did the calculation, and I found out how much money I was spending on just baking supplies. Well, now it's weird that I say that because I spend 10 times more just buying fabric. But that was one of the biggest reasons why I stopped doing it, because money was tight back then and I needed to give up something. So out went the baking. Plus the fact that, well, I shouldn't be eating sugar because I am a type 2 diabetic. So there is that. But I don't know, for quite some time I was not enjoying it as much. I just, I don't know, lost interest maybe. So, but yeah, is there something that you used to do a lot that you don't do as much anymore? Yeah. Been kind of giving it some thought, and maybe, you know, once, maybe I'll get back into it. Who knows? Or maybe I'll do something, something for Christmas. Just a thought, but I still have all, I still kind of memorize my recipes though that I used to use a lot. Wait, this goes like that. So then this one, yeah. Now I know quilters are not just quilters. They have a whole bunch of other, or a whole slew of other hobbies that everybody likes, or that we all like to do. Case in point, I know a lot of people, or a lot of you out there, love to crochet. I know a lot of quilters that do painting as well, which I thought was kind of interesting. Okay, got that one. I think this is the final one, because I got one here. Okay, so again, quarter square triangle. I'm just going to place this square right on top. I'm going to line up my corner here with the diagonal seam that I have on the other half square triangle. And I'm going to try and match these corners as best as I can. Now, this half square triangle, I should mention, is purposely a little bit oversized, because I know I'm going to trim this down to the correct size anyway. So I could have actually trimmed this down to make it match this square, but I figure I saved myself a step by not doing it now, because I know I'm going to be trimming down everything anyway. But as long as I got this this square lined up correctly, it should be okay. And then now I'm going to sew my seams going opposite of where the other seam is. So here's the other one. This will be number 3. And I'm just choosing to press these seams open because there seems to be a lot of intersections within each quadrant, and I'm not exactly 100% sure which way the seam needs to go. So safest bet is to just press it open. Yeah. But more and more so, I kind of find myself just enjoying or getting better results when I do press seams open as opposed to over to one side. I do find that the blocks lie a lot. They lie. They lie better. They lie a little bit more flat, obviously. So, but also I can line up the blocks a lot better when I can see exactly where the intersection is. So, okay, then I'm going to trim this one down. Okay, I'm just gonna trim this one real quick and then catch up with the comments there, because I see the chat is rolling. Okay. And this one goes like that. Then I got one half square triangle to do. One more. Whoa, okay. So Julie says she loved acrylic painting. It is very hard to paint, and so cost is about the same. I hope to be painting again soon. Yeah, I was quite surprised at how expensive a canvas really is. And even the paints you kind of use up, or I don't want to say waste, but just to do one painting does take a lot of paint. And then once you like get it out of the tube or whatever you're using, it's not like you can put it back in. Jilly Poppy says, I used to play a Super City game and loved it, and it was addicted to it, but then I realized how much time I spent on it and spending money on it. What a waste of time and money. Started sewing more. Are you a Candy Crush girl too? Hey Remo. Hey Katie, that's the Greenland Quilter. She's saying, am I too late? Nope. You're never late. You're just early for next week on Hawaiian time, or Greenland time, maybe I should say. And I'm just sewing off on a 1.5 inch square there. I'm gonna do something with that. I don't want to collect it like some of the other 4 patches that I make. Okay, trim that. Trim that. Trim that. Okay, we'll press these, get these open. I should have actually trimmed these off too. Kim Burris is saying, I used to do a lot of baking, but since I am alone, don't do much. I don't need the calories. I also used to play guitar, but stopped due to arthritis in my hand. Hmm. I would love to learn how to play guitar, just so I can make my own music. Or background music, I should say, for YouTube videos. So this one goes there, this one goes there, and then we got one more unit to trim. Where'd it go? There. Barb McKinley says, I used to ride a bike a lot. I wouldn't feel safe anymore with all the homeless and drug deals on the trails. Ooh. You know, there's a lot of cities are having such an increase in homeless people. Yeah. A friend of mine once went to, or just kind of recently went to my home state of Hawaii, and she was quite shocked to see how many homeless people there are at some of the beaches and in some of the parks, in which they're not homeless by, or they're not homeless because they have mental illness or whatnot. In Hawaii, a lot of the homeless, especially the ones that I've met or the ones that I know, you know, they have full-time jobs, but it's just so darn expensive that they can't afford to get an apartment. They can't afford to get, or to just have a home of any sort. So they live out on the beach, and, you know, they can't afford to move either because they got kids, they have a family, and it's just sad that, you know, you work hard, you work full time, and you still can't make ends meet. That's just a sad, sad reality. I guess I feel fortunate that, well, yeah, I guess I should just be more appreciative of what I do have. Or, yeah, anytime I feel like, oh, I feel bad about not being able to afford like the brand new sewing machine. I think of just some of my friends back home who are barely making ends meet and just paying the rent. But it's a fact of the economy right now. Yep. Okay, that's backwards. Okay, so I got my 4 quadrants here. This one is all sewn, so I can start sewing these parts together. Donna Hoffler saying, I don't knit, crochet, or do cross stitch anymore. No need and cannot see to cross stitch. Hey Sheila. Hi Candace. And Molly J says vegetable gardening in pots. Really? Huh. Well, I guess you could. I'm thinking like potatoes where it has to grow down deep underground and you got to dig it out of the dirt. I mean, that would be like a big bucket. But I think like cabbage you could do. Scallions, green onions. Huh. I should do that. Oh, but then again, where I live, no. It'd probably get stolen by somebody. But then again, knowing people around here, they've probably never seen a vegetable in their life. I shouldn't say that. That's bad of me, Eric. Well, maybe I could teach them about it. But then again, we also have wild animals around in this part, so not a good idea for us to get, or it wouldn't be good for us to give them an incentive to come visit us. So okay. Okay, I hope I have my orientation correct. I'm pretty sure I do. Well, let me double check that. So this one is going to go like this eventually when it's in the block. So that means this will go like that, and this will go like that. Is that right? Yep. So then that would mean that this one is going to go in the upper right corner. So it'll go like that. Yep, we're coming together. And this one's gonna go like this. So you can kind of see the block forming, coming together. Whoops. Okay. Kimber says, I used to make all of my husband's dad's shirts and most of my mom's clothes. They're all gone now. Aww. But what happened to the clothes? Did you keep, well, did you keep some of them? And did I just, no, this one is for this one, that's why. Okay, then we'll sew this. Jill Poppy says, Jilly Poppy says, I love to bake, but I eat it, so I don't bake often and just learned I'm pre-diabetic. Well, Jill or Jilly, join the club. Um, yeah, that's probably a good reason why I should not start baking again. But yeah, not to say that's really going to stop me though. I used to really enjoy it. Well, it was one thing for me to enjoy the baking process. Um, what I really liked about baking was just watching everybody enjoy whatever I made. That's usually my thing, though. Um, it's not the process of creating whatever or cooking. When it comes to cooking, that's usually how I feel. Like, I don't enjoy cooking, but I used to, for the major holidays, I used to throw like these big parties when I had a larger apartment, and all of my friends, coworkers, family, you know, used to come over, and I used to just kind of go all out and just decorate, make a huge buffet table, decorate that. And a lot of the friends that I left back in Los Angeles, they all talk about those parties though, still to this day. And it's been over, gosh, a number of years now since I've done one. And I used to enjoy it was a lot of work to put it all together, but I used to enjoy just watching people kind of come together. And, I would always have this very eclectic group of people. Whoops, sorry. I would always have these very eclectic or good mix of people at these parties. Um, some being coworkers, some being just friends, and so others being friends of friends. Yeah, it was one of those parties. But I used to just enjoy watching people just enjoy themselves, and kind of made me feel good to see that all of that hard work that I would spend and all that money that I used to spend in the kitchen, cooking, slaving over a hot stove or a hot oven, and then just to see people enjoy it. Uh, oh, it's coming together, guys. Okay, I'm just going to sew a 4-patch real quick. Last piece, and then I can sew the 4 quadrants together. Oh, look at that. That point came out nice. Happy with that one. Okay. There it is. So I can start sewing these quadrants together. And just making sure that I do have my seams lined up okay. That's an extra piece. And whoops. Almost sewed that the wrong way. These are tiny pieces, but we'll make it work. And then I can sew off on yet another scrap piece here. There we go. Okay, then one last seam, and this is the long one with all these intersections. So for this, I am going to pin it. I'm just going to pin the center one. Or maybe I should pin these guys too. No, I think I can. Yeah, I think I can hold those together. So. Hello, Miss Nancy. Kim says, I love to cook and bake, but now I share a lot when I do that. Well, it's good to share. And Nancy is saying, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Miss Vivian. Sorry I didn't see you come in. Greenland Quilter saying, trying to do, well, her son had been homeless for 10 months. That's right. Trying to do that while taking care of an 8-year-old. That's right, that's right. But the good news is he has a place now, right? So that's super, super good news. And Jill Poppy said, Jilly Poppy. Why do I keep saying Jill? Jilly Poppy says, I grow tomatoes in a small greenhouse and jalapenos. And guess who Nancy says, Eric, you can grow potatoes in straw or hay, that way no digging or no mud on them. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I guess on my grandparents' farm, we used to just grow sweet potatoes, but we would always just stick it in the ground and it would grow like wildflower. Wildflower. I know I had another one. Where'd it go? Oh well. Okay, I'll just sew on one last little scrap piece here so I can take the block off, and there we go. Ta-da! Okay, let's give this a good press, and then we can have a really good, nice look at this. Okay, let me put a clapper on that before, make sure the seams go down because it's rather bulky back there. Michelle the Quilter says you can grow herbs in pots inside with a grow light. Never did try that. And Gay Greenland Quilter says you can grow just about anything food-wise in pots. Okay. I guess I shall try it. Potatoes, mustard, turnips, collard greens, carrots, spinach, lettuce, tomato, peppers. I know one thing you can't grow in a pot. Pineapple. Well, actually, you can. It's just not going to be the grocery store size. It's going to be a little itty-bitty thing. Good night, Miss Vivian. Thanks for stopping by. Kimber says, I kept a few clothes, especially my dad and husband's jeans and overalls and some shirts. I made a quilt with them. I kept some of mom's shirts and wear them. I figured you would make a quilt out of it. Kevin, I hate you. You're in Honolulu right now? Oh my gosh. Well, that's right. Southwest is flying there. Whoops. I just gave away your employer. Sorry. How long are you there for, Kevin? Or is it just an overnight thing? And Greenland Quilter says that block is going to be terrific. We shall see. Donna Hoffler says, pretty block. Never saw this one before. Nancy, you caught that wrong. It was wrong on the bottom left. Yep. Okay. So there is the block. Now the way they have it, or the way they construct it in the book, it's this is actually one solid piece based upon a template that they got there. Sorry, I know the camera's not going to focus. Let me focus it manually. So this template actually cuts that piece right there. Instead of using the templates, all I did was actually made half square triangles here. There's one here and there's one there. So I did do it differently, but you still kind of get the same effect. Although the fabrics, I mean, they used lighter colored fabrics as their background. I went with the darker pink because, well, it's what I had. And although this fabric doesn't show up as much, it kind of, because I guess with the pinks, it just kind of blends in together with everything. So, do I like it? Yeah, I guess so. It was interesting to play with a combination of this navy blue and this lighter teal color, or this lighter blue color with the pink. So I guess you could call this an experimentation with color. Oh, yeah, see, everybody caught that. The bottom left was wrong. Okay, so let me catch up with all these comments that came in. Wow, I'm really behind. Okay, let's see. Hey, Denise Spigner. She's saying, good evening to you and everyone. Eric, have you worked at the local office in Vegas and met new coworkers yet, or are you working remotely? Nope, Vegas does not have any COVID restrictions anymore, so we are all in the office. Okay, you did great matching all the themes. That's often a challenge for me. Yeah, well, Jill, or Jilly, here's my suggestion. If you are one that presses your seams over to one side, try pressing them open, like how I did here. That might actually help you a lot in terms of dealing with, well, dealing with the bulk is one issue, but I do find when I do have intersections where I have angles coming together, like this point right here, although I didn't get it quite to the 1/4 inch, I probably have to trim this down, but because of the fact where I can, when I'm sewing, I can actually see where those two fabrics meet up, like right at that point. It helps me out a lot in terms of watching the needle hit that point or hit it where it needs to be. So just give it a try. Guess who? Nancy says your fingers are as good as an iron. Well, my fingers are fat, so it covers a lot of area. Let's just say that. People are saying the block is beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Julie says, sorry, so I couldn't just watch. I am trimming 11.5-inch pinwheel blocks for my daughter's birthday quilt. Oh, well, happy birthday to your daughter. Hi, June. Okay, and everybody just saying hi to each other. Jelly Poppy says, love pineapple, it's my favorite. Oh boy, not my favorite at all. But, you know, I will enjoy a pineapple upside down cake though, I will say that. But pineapple on pizza, no. That is, yeah, no. Well, thank you, Michelle, the quilter. She said it's a very pretty block. Nancy, guess who Nancy is asking? What is the name of that block? So this is block 60 of the Farmer's Wife quilt, and called Noon and Light. And Barb McKinley says, I have a mango and an avocado doing well indoors. Mango I'm not so crazy about, but avocado I could do with an avocado tree. Sure beats buying it from the Mexican market. And people are saying it turned out pretty. Thank you, June. Thank you, Barbara. Thanks for the suggestion. I will definitely try that. I get so tired of ripping out and resewing. Well, We know the struggle, Jilly. We know the struggle. I think we all know the struggle. So I think we all can relate. But it does take practice, and you'll get better with it over time. So don't get so down on yourself. Just enjoy the process and just have fun with it, is what I say. And if it doesn't come out to be 100% perfect, like even on here, like that's not, I mean, it's good enough for me, but it's not perfect. And neither is that one. I mean, it's a little bit off. You might not be able to see it all. This one you'll definitely see, because the seam on the left is a little bit higher, but you know what? If I wave it around like this, are you going to see it? No. And Denise Spigner says, good to hear you have new folks to bake for and party with. I don't know if this, well, I don't know if my coworkers or my new coworkers are the partying type, because everybody just kind of puts their head down and just does work. So, I don't know. Maybe we can change that. Or we don't hang out off hours. I think most of us just go straight home. Which is, well, I mean, we're coworkers, so it's not like we're supposed to be the best friends, although we could be, but yeah. Now that it's cooling off, I need to quilt some of the tops that I have. Oh, hey, Jim. That was Jim Bennett. Don't avocados take a long time to grow? I don't know, do they? I know they do take a long time to fruit. I was going to say sprout, but like my mother, she used to keep a whole bunch of avocados right around the kitchen sink. Don't ask me why. That was her thing. Okay. So I do have some notes in here about future blocks or blocks that I will be doing. Some of them are not going to be on a live because, they're kind of simple, that you could probably just do it even without me demonstrate. Like this one, for example. These are kind of a dime a dozen, in which just by looking at the diagram, you can kind of figure out how to do this. The blocks, I'm being a little bit more selective now in terms of what I do on a live. It's going to be more of the blocks that are a little bit more complex, because I know there are a number of you that are sewing along or have purchased the book and are wanting to do this quilt now that you see me doing it. So I figure on blocks like this, you can kind of figure out the parts that you need or the pieces that you need. You might not know the size, but eventually you can kind of figure out how to construct the block. It's blocks like this, for example, where you do have weird angles or unusual angles, in which it might not be so easy to construct the block. Or even, like I know we already did this one, and this was not a particularly, shall I say, beginner-friendly block. I definitely needed to use the templates for this block, and because I actually sewed it in an order that was not supposed to be, or I kind of sewed the block or put together all the pieces out of order, I ended up doing a Y seam. I forget where it was, but I managed to get through it. And this block is actually, where is it? Oh, there it is. Actually here, so didn't do too bad with it, but again, if I had to figure out the measurements for each of these pieces, yeah, forget it. Forget that. I would have just passed on this block. But because I did use the templates, made it a lot easier. So, yeah, so just going forward, I'm looking for blocks that are a little bit more complex. Like I think I'm gonna do this one next. And this is another one in which I'm definitely probably going to want to cut out or print out the templates and use the templates to construct this one. Unless I figure out some way of piecing it. But these are kind of weird angles, so we'll see. We'll see. Or if there's a paper piece pattern for it. I'm pretty sure there is. Actually, I know there is. But yeah. Okay, so this is block number, oh, I just had it. Block number 60. Here's the version in the book. Here's my version of it. I constructed this a little bit differently in that I made half square triangles out of this inner square or this dark navy blue square, but overall, I think it comes out with the same look. So I'm happy with it. Okay. So that is it for tonight, guys. I'm just gonna catch up with the comments here real quickly and then we'll wrap it up. So Barb McKinley says, my avocado won't bear fruit indoors. Same for the mango, but they are pretty plants. I guess maybe that's why my mom put all those avocados next to the sink, because the sink was just, it was dirty and it was ugly. So maybe something nice to look at. Who knows? Like the little old lady in Poltergeist, this house is clean. Okay. Suzanne says, oh, that's intimidating, Eric. It's not that bad. Just take it one step at a time, or one piece at a time, Suzanne. It's really not that bad. She said, and she also says she was lurking tonight. Okay. A lot of lurkers tonight, but that's fine. Jim Bennett says 5 stars. Well, thank you, Jim. And June is saying good night. She will be she will watch the replay. Jilly Poppy says, love this and the chat. Well, thank you for stopping by. Kim is saying good night. All right, so hey, cutie. That's Cutie Rupert saying aloha. Aloha, girl. All right, guys, so that is it for tonight. I'm still kind of up in the air if I'll be on Saturday. I more than likely will be, though, because there's some crafting projects that I need to get done. So I figure, I'll turn on the camera and let's do something. So, yeah. So just want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight. Hope you guys can make this block. All right, guys, that is it for tonight. So have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will see you on Saturday. So let's all get out there and let's all create something. Mwah. Bye for now.